Hey friends, this is Brunch with Jorge. I want to thank Fierce Supply for the whole weekend, sending me and Mark up here. We're down here, Texas, down here, and we're wrapping it up with my friend Jorge Masvidal, one of my favorite fighters on the planet. We're going to have some brunch. How are you, brother? Hungry. Yeah, we'll get some food. What do you like to eat?
Right now, you're going to see me fuck shit up, man.
Yeah?
Whatever's available, I'm going to eat.
Let's see. Well, we'll take
everything.
Let's take a little scan. We'll find something. Day after the fight. If you didn't check out our Shuttle wrap-up, we did a little chat on the way down here. You can check that out, too. We talked a little bit about the fight. And man, you're able to beat any man on earth on the right night. You know, and when you're on, you'll beat every single 170-pounder on the planet. But it's just those little inches. It's those little inches, those little moments. Do you take it the day after different now than when you were young and everything had more consequence and weight? Or have you learned to deal with the highs and the lows?
Pretty much still the same, man.
Yeah.
I fall into a deep depression and eat my way out of it, you know? It's always what I've done, yeah. I mean, I'll start here, but I'll try not to put on that much weight because I know when I go home, how I deal with depression is by just eating, you know? And I just eat, and I'll gain massive amounts of weight. So I'm gonna try not to do that. I'm gonna eat, but like clean it, you know? What
if you face a downtime after a loss? And it's logical that we do, because fighting was something once when we were primitive, where we would fight and the winner would get the women, lead the troops, and sometimes the loser would be banished from the tribe. You know, that doesn't happen anymore now. And now it's a contest. And you know that there are people that celebrate your fight and celebrate how great you are. But what else helps you to not get down like that? Working out, learning, what helps you stay up?
My kids mainly. Yeah. Just being around them helps out. But the main factor for me, and I notice, is me working out. That chemical that your body produces, that drug that gets released. I noticed when I've had like injuries a couple times, and this took me a while. Not in the beginning of my career, I didn't figure it out, but once I don't work out 3-4 days, my mood has completely changed. And I don't know, it's not like I tell myself, but I become irritable, I become moody. Somebody asks me a question, it's like, why are you asking me questions for? And then I go to the gym, come back, and everything is fine, you know, and my body has to release whatever it releases, because I don't know exactly what it releases.
What the chemistry is. Doesn't matter, really.
Yeah.
But, so you know that, and now you know. You were telling me in the car ride over that you're going to go right into the gym on Monday. So you know that's going to help.
Tomorrow. Yeah. That's the only way. I got to take out my demons out in the weights, the punching bag, something, you know. Yeah. Thank God I got no injuries. I'm fresh, so I could get right back to work immediately.
It's you know, self-awareness is everything, man. Knowing that helps you. And it's an interesting conversation because it's something that you're talking openly about that you face after a fight or a loss. But lots of people deal with depression all the time. And the one thing they can control is eat healthy and work out. And it will always help to some degree. Yeah. Always.
Yeah. In my profession, I would do the working out, but the eating healthy, no. Now it's when I've been more self-conscious on that, you know? So
then instead you have to work out a little harder if we're going to cheat.
Way harder.
Cheat a little.
Oh, no, this is not even considered cheating for me.
Like how much food are we talking about? Like
I don't know if you have a Krispy Kreme in Canada. You ever heard of
Yes.
So I'll go there and like get 24 donuts and eat about 24 donuts with milk and stupid things like that. You know, that's how I fight the depression.
Sugar? You like sugar? Is the thing?
I love the sugar. I love food too. Steak, meat, ribs. I eat just about everything.
Yeah.
McDonald's, Burger King. People think I be joking, but no, I'll stop there and destroy it, you know?
So when you were having to cut down to 155 pounds, that was a challenge for life, man.
Yeah.
You know?
I couldn't even think about going down there right now. I couldn't even, I wouldn't even go, even if they brought the IVs back or whatever, I wouldn't do it. You know? It's just too much weight for me.
How about cocktail? You drink?
I'm not much of a drink, especially in the morning. If I drink before eating, it'll fuck up my stomach.
A little bit of weed for pain management sometimes?
Oh, yeah. For hunger management, all the managements.
All the managements.
Sleep management, happy management.
Yeah. I was talking to Calvin, and he got dinged for weed. Isn't that insane? that
It's
you know
crazy.
that you can go and take an opiate to like a painkiller that's going to be dangerous to your life and is powerfully addictive, and then you can't smoke a little reefer to fix a bad back or to get some rest. It's insanity.
It's crazy, but I know that I don't know how it was in Brazil because it's a Brazilian commission that caught him. I know in the States you have to do it like within the days of the fight, like 2-3 days back. So I don't know in Brazil if it was like it was in the system for a month.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're going off.
No, I don't know it. I don't know. What are you thinking food-wise? Have you had a peek? Like we got a lot of options
Alexis,
going
Texas.
on here. Thanks to Anvil Pub here in Dallas, Texas. We'll thank them more if it's delicious.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I see something called the Walk of Shame. That appeals to me. There was something. My wife booked this restaurant for us.
Really?
Yeah. My wife's the best, man. And there was some, I think the fuck off breakfast, or it was something weird like that. What are you thinking?
I'm gonna get the French toast with the salted caramel.
Ooh, yeah, you do like sugary things.
Oh yeah. Then probably like some breakfast tacos or something.
Yeah, let's start with some breakfast tacos. You good to share them?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. There was something called the Fuck Brunch. I'll ask him what it is. But the Walk of Shame sounds pretty good too. Yep. So back in the gym Monday. Can you take a break? Take your family or your kids somewhere?
The summer vacation's coming up soon, so I got some things planned to take them outside of the country, show them around for a little bit. But I'll be training the whole time through, you know. I want to get in there ASAP, you know.
Yeah.
I got no injuries, nothing's wrong. I'm in great shape.
Yeah.
I just want to go, you know.
Yeah.
As long as it's the only way you wouldn't see me competing soon is if they try to give me somebody outside the top 5, somebody outside the top 10. That it's just not it's not worth my time, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think at this stage of my career I need to fight any Ultimate Fighters, anybody like that. If they're not top 5, top 10, I won't get in there, you know.
There was a period in there you lost a couple of split decisions, and maybe people weren't quite yet at the level of understanding high quality fighting, where people didn't get that you were a top 5 guy, that you were among the very best in the world. And now I think they do, right? Do you think it was the Donald fight? What do you think it has made people see now that they're looking at one of the top fighters in the world?
Definitely the Donald fight, and then I think once the masses notice me and then they look into my career and see the guys that I fought outside of the UFC and things like that, then it starts to make a little bit more sense. And now though I got out grappled by Maia, you can still see that I'm not a bad grappler, that I'm pretty good at defending takedowns, you know? Yeah. So I think I'll be back. I don't think this loss hurts me. It hurts me personally.
Yeah.
But I don't think it hurts me as far as like my ranking or going stuff because he's been demolishing guys. You know?
That's true.
Carlos Condit, Magny, Brown, all these guys have just been getting their back, ending their lives, you know?
Yeah.
So it's more of a hurtful loss for me, but I think I'll be able to get back in there and fight a top-ranked opponent within hours, I should know, you know?
Yeah, that's wicked, man. So when you look at Carlos Condit, I think may not be fighting anymore. I think he might have done all he wanted to do, or I'm not sure about that. I don't have first-hand information on it, but that's the vibe that you're getting. But you look at a guy like that, and you look at a great fighter, and do you think, fuck, I'd like to fight Carlos Condit?
Oh yeah. Just because I know he's gonna come to fight.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's gonna be a
or
good
Nick
fight.
Diaz.
Nick Diaz, anybody. The biggest names, the biggest paychecks is all I want.
Yeah.
You know, if they're not a high-ranked guy, well then they're gonna have to have a big name behind them. You know?
Yeah.
I'd rather fight the high-ranked guys because my goal ultimately is to fight for that title. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could pull off maybe 2 wins against 2 of the highest-ranked dudes, I think that would set me up for a title. You know, or at least I'd be in the conversation of it.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's cool to be uninjured and be able to get back in there and know, you know, you keep that thing going. You seem happiest when you've got to fight.
Yeah.
You know, you seem the most alive when you've got somebody ready to fight. So, how old are your kids?
I got a 14-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 2-year-old.
And what are you like as a father? Are you different than with them than you are with everybody else in the world?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
They're the ultimate game-bred fans.
Yeah, I
and
bet.
I'm the ultimate fans of my kids, you know? I love my kids. I love just hanging out with them. We'll eat.
Yeah.
Go to a place to eat, or we'll just stay at home eating ice cream, watching movies, you know?
Yeah.
We just have a blast, and they're a lot like me, so it's easy for me to understand them.
Yeah, for sure. Jeff, Do you want to see if anybody's got food kicking around? If there's a waitress? No, they haven't popped by yet. And I know this guy's hungry. Like hungry. So now you, last night you guys ordered pizza. How'd that go?
We got, for starters, somebody ordered 4 cheese pizzas like we were in middle school, just cheese. And none of them had sauce. And we ordered a Hawaiian, and the Hawaiian didn't have ham.
What?
So I was just pissed
Or cheese?
as hell, man.
Yeah.
It had cheese, but it had no ham, you know. So I was just upset yesterday at my post-fight dinner meal.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, and see, now they're taking a while here.
Yeah.
You're getting screwed, man. This is reasonably unfair. But it'll all turn around. This will come out. This is, I don't know, you won't be able to see it there, but this was the cocktail I was telling you about in the van. Like just some giant drink full of shrimp and bacon and stuff. I think I'm going to try one of those.
I got to stay away from that. If I eat uncooked shrimp, done.
Just...
No allergies.
Oh yeah? Everything swell up?
My throat will close, you know. I could eat shrimp if it's thoroughly cooked.
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy. I told you I was going to Korea today.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. That's a long flight. I've been over there.
Yeah, you have?
Yeah, I fought
to
over
fight?
there.
Who'd you fight in?
Ben Henderson.
Oh yeah, of course. So what was that like? Tell me about it.
I loved it. I love the culture over there, and the food is amazing. If you like Korean food,
Yeah,
the
I do.
barbecue.
Korean barbecue.
Well, they're gonna take care of you.
Yeah.
So you know, they're gonna take you where to go and eat. You're gonna have a good time over there.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. So, you know, I was working at a place in Canada, and they kind of stopped doing the stuff that we did, and I got jobs in Russia and Korea because you never know what's going on internationally. Like you could have 10,000 fans in Russia. You don't even know.
Yeah.
And there are in Korea, Russia, different areas of Asia as well, in addition to Korea, China. All over there, they have different YouTube, different Facebook, their own. And there can be millions of people wearing Jorge Masvidal Game Bread shirts over there, right?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You go to the place and people just mob you and like, whoa, I didn't know.
It's wild. It's international kind of world. But one thing I have really liked when I've started to work on commentary type gigs in Russia and then worked with these cool people, really sweet people in Korea, is the audience views fighting differently. The way I view it and the way that you view it. There's something special, technical, philosophical about it, artistic, creative. They care about the fights. They don't care about Twitter.
Yeah.
They don't care about pay-per-view numbers or, you know, conflict between fighters or personality, that the way they talk. They care about the art of the fight and the philosophy of growth in the martial arts. And it's wild to go over there. It's wild because you see the way that we do things in North America isn't the only way.
No, yeah. That's why they call it martial arts a lot of the times, you know. I remember fighting in Japan and it'd always be quiet, silent, and then a good technique would happen and be ooh, it was always a sign of respect. I can't remember them ever booing anybody.
No.
Even when it was an American destroying the Japanese or something, they got
appreciate it.
Yeah, they got a firm belief in their system of fighting, you know?
Yeah, it really is an amazing thing. Somebody interesting walked by. It's a wonderful thing over there, and I'm just super pumped to go. But it's a long flight. I think it's going to be, I'm leaving here at 8 tonight, it's Sunday, and I get in Tuesday morning. And so when you fight in these different places, will you take some time and travel around and try different culture, taste some different things and meet some people and
stuff? If you're in Korea, you have to. I mean, who knows if you're ever going to go back again, just because the flight is so long, do you want to come back, you know? So I stayed, I think, maybe 2 more days after my fight. I went to some cool Shaolin monk temples, Korean barbecue as much as I could. I wanted to go to some of the places where they do judo because Korea is really good at judo and taekwondo. I didn't get to go into those places, but at the high level ones that I wanted to get into, you needed like a clearance, and I didn't know the right guy at the time. So I didn't get to do that, but that's something that I would do. Like if I was you, man, if you could go do that. I am Taekwondo practice.
Yeah, I have a black belt at World Taekwondo Federation black belt. Nice. Growing up, I trained Taekwondo, and it's on the list. Definitely something I want to do on Thursday while I'm there, and go really train. Maybe somewhere outside. There are outside places that you can train, so I'm excited to do it. There's something super cool about being able to travel, and I mean, you've made a living and a career and an identity being a combat athlete, traveling around the world, fighting men in cages and rings and backyards and wherever.
It's fun, man. It always throws me off, you know, a little bit because you gotta kind of absorb the moment. You don't want to get too lost in it, but you look around, you go, I'm here. I've landed, I've arrived. This is what I love to do. I'm making a living out of it. My kids eat because of it. It always still catches me, you know?
Yeah, it really is something. It's when you were 19, 20 years old, could you have thought you'd be here right now fighting the number 1, 2, 3 guys in the world in front of 500,000 people on TV?
I knew it was a matter of time. I didn't know when it would happen, but I knew that my determination and drive would get me there, you know?
Yeah.
I remember just starting out at the gym, and there was guys that had been training 2-3 years, and they were walking the floor with me, get me in arm bars, triangles, but within like 4 months, I narrowed that gap. And I noticed then, I was like, if I could narrow the gap with a guy that's got 3-4 years on me, what could I do in 3-4 years, you know? So I always knew it'd be a matter of time before I'd get here.
Yeah. I mean, that's a mindset. And it's one not everybody has, but it's true. Everybody can get better at whatever they spend time training. You know, you probably teach your kids that pretty serious.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I teach anything they want to do, I fully submerge them in that. Like, hey, you want to do gymnastics? Well, let's do it 4 or 5 times a week before you say you're not good at it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's true. A couple people said to me, we were booked to come and take a ride and hang out and chat and eat. I don't know if we're going to eat. I mean, food ain't coming yet. And people were like, a couple of people said that you'd mentioned somewhere that when people were asking you for interviews and time, you said, I'm going to spend my time with the people that have been with me from the beginning. Yeah. And thanks for hanging out with me, man. You know?
I've always been a fan of your work, so that was a
Hello.
no-brainer, you know?
Hi, how are you guys today?
Good, thanks. Yay, food.
Anvil Pub.
Thank you. No problem.
Engaged.
No problem.
Here for brunch before?
No, we've never been here for brunch.
Okay, so it's pretty easy. We actually only have 2 pages available.
Yeah.
It's going to be this back inside page here. We do have some vegan and vegetarian options on there. If you guys need those, I'd be more than happy to go over those with you.
Okay, we were talking about sharing some brunch nachos, right? First?
We do not actually have brunch nachos.
No problem.
That's going to be our regular full menu.
No
so
problem. We'll eat.
I did hear you mention the wok of shame, which is really
does look
good.
tasty.
I do like chorizo with that.
Yes, I'm gonna have the wok of shame with chorizo.
Okay.
And what's this here?
Okay, so these are what we offer on Saturdays and Sundays. These are going to be our big Fuck Brunch drinks. They
Fuck Brunch.
A 32-ounce mason jar. They do also have a pretty substantial amount of food on each one.
This is a Caesar or a Bloody Mary?
So we have 4 options. We have a Bloody Mary, we have a mimosa, a screwdriver.
I'll have that Bloody Mary.
Okay.
Yeah, let's have that.
Okay. And that comes with a baby half PBR as well to get you started.
Okay. What are you thinking?
The hot mess. Can I add chorizo to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll have
There
that.
does come with sausage in there already, so you
Perfect.
want to do
Yes.
sausage and chorizo? Sure.
And Lexus, Texas.
Okay. We changed that recently. We used to use our house bread pudding. Now we actually have a traditional breakfast toast. It's ridiculously.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You want a coffee or a juice or anything?
You have milkshakes? You have juices?
I have orange juice, I have cranberry juice, grapefruit juice, pineapple juice.
Orange and cranberry juice.
Orange and cranberry as a mix? Or
No, just
One of
yeah.
each.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, now we're gonna eat. That's good. Did you guys order some food? We got Abraham, your guy. How long you been working with Abe?
For a while, 3 years.
Yeah.
Going on 3 years.
Yeah, he takes care of you?
He's been the most instrumental new piece of the team that I've had on. You know, he's been the reason I've gotten these big fights. You know.
That's wicked. Yeah, good dude. It must be over years. So I was talking to a bunch of different coaches this weekend. A guy named Alex Cooper, who is Stipe's guy. That tall, thin guy holding mitts for Stipe. I don't know if you saw him. And I asked him about why he dedicated himself to coaching, and he's like, he's always enjoyed being behind somebody, being a part of somebody and helping, having their back. It feels good to have a bunch of people have your back, eh? A team.
Yeah.
Like that have you no matter what.
Yeah.
Most people don't experience that, but these people who'll do anything for you.
I've had my striking coach since I was 17, and I mean that guy would give his arm for me, because it also comes with what you give out, I take care of my people that've been with me from the start when I was making $1,000 to fight to what I'm making now. We shook on it, and it's still a handshake deal. He told me back then, he goes, if you make it, you make it, and if you don't, you don't. But I'll charge you this percentage, and then when you make it, then that'll be when I get all the hours back. Because when we first started out, we used to religiously put in like 3-4 hours every day, just me and him.
Wow.
Him getting me up to speed. Now we don't do as much because I don't need as much. So I put a lot of time into my wrestling, into the weightlifting. But now it's when I make money, so now I get to repay him back. You know.
That truly the only good deals in the world in any scenario are deals that work for everybody involved. There's no such thing as any other deal that makes any sense, because if the three of us have a deal and it's great for you and terrible for me and not very good for them, it'll fall apart anyways. The only real things, and these days with web and the way people are doing things independently and stuff, people don't even sign contracts anymore. They give each other enough value that they're both happy, and I think it's a good way the world works.
Yeah, no, we're talking about trainers and fighters?
Trainers, fighters, everything. Like any kind of scenario.
So a lot of them getting ripped off, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
If you're one of these fighters not paying your trainers, it's going to bite you in the ass. Man. There's a lot that I know that think that just giving them exposure or whatnot is good enough. Like, if you come to a deal with somebody, just be a man about it, Because some guys are like, oh, I'm never going to make money. And then when they start making money,
they want it all.
Now they got to give that $10,000 check. They don't want to do it, and that's kind of fucked up, If you have a deal with somebody, I hear about it left and right. I've witnessed it a lot. It's happened to coaches that I work with. Guys just turning shady on them, and it's fucked up,
So when I was learning about the business, this is my thing. I'm obsessed with it. Fighting is my love, right? After my wife, and but I wanted to learn the business. I fought to try to understand it. I also went and I commentated and I carried the bucket and whatever. I want to learn it all. I managed some fighters for a little while because I wanted to understand that side of the business. So there was a young guy named Nick Denis, was his name, a bantamweight, and fantastic fighter and a fantastic guy. And same thing, I booked him. I said, we'll get you to the UFC. It's what he wanted to do, and he belonged there. And so we booked him a few key fights. Cheers. Cheers. We booked him a couple of key fights, and I said, don't even pay me. I said, if we get to the UFC, we discussed 10%, great. So he wins a couple of key fights, takes a guy, this guy's beating him up, comes up on the guy's back, throws him up in the air, grabs him by the chin, and spikes him down and knocks him out. Wow. And on that night, I knew he was in the UFC, and we got it was on TV. So I took the video and I sent it to Sean Shelby. You can find it out there. Nick Denis, Nick Malice, choke slam, boom, puts him out. So it's hot. I'll show you after. And so we contact Sean Shelby, signs him, gives him a fight. I'm pumped. My boy and my first fighter is fighting in Nashville on the January 20th, and I'm so excited. Then I forget. I suddenly remember I'm getting married on January 21st, so I can't go. So I was kind of disappointed. Anyway, the long and the short of it is he comes out, 2-3, boom, hurts the guy. 2-3, boom, hurts the guy. Grabs the tie clinch, and the guy's arm doesn't come up to protect him. He looks, 1, 2, 3, 4, unconscious, 25 seconds, the night before my wedding. We celebrate, I go to the rehearsal and dinner with my family. I get a text from him, hey, I got $6,500 for you, because he got knocked out of the night. Right on the spot. I congratulate him. I'm so happy for him. The knockout of the night, $6,500. I still owed about $4,500 on my wedding, and he knocked the guy out cold, and he paid for the debt.
Shit.
Isn't that awesome?
That's a man. That's what you're supposed to do,
That's right.
You make a deal with somebody, and hey, if you get me here, I'm gonna do this for you, and you do that for me. That's what you're supposed to do. So it's fucked up because a lot of times these trainers don't sign the contract. You know? They just do the handshake. And that's what it should be more than enough.
It should be. There's something about that. So you said be a man, right? And I agree. And there's something about pride and being who you're supposed to be that's important to you, right?
Oh, you got to, especially like you don't steal from your friends, shit like that.
Basics.
Like the basic principles and morals, You don't tell your trainer that's busting his ass with you, I got you when I get there, and then you don't, No,
I've seen it too. And then they even leave him sometimes. They even leave him. They got him there, and then they just leave. It's so crazy.
A lot of times that's why fighters switch camps, because they burnt out everybody in the city already.
Yeah.
They got to go elsewhere, you know?
Yeah. Vitor's up in Canada now, and I'm not picking on Vitor, but he's been at every single camp, and now he's up at TriStar. I don't know the story behind it. Maybe he just loves to travel, but you see some of these guys, literally, they go through every single one of them.
From what I've heard, I'm gonna plead the fifth. But
That's fair.
That dude owes money from what I heard.
Oh yeah,
you know?
yeah. See right there, you can't be owing people money that worked for you.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, some people think like they're doing you the favor.
Yeah.
Because they're giving you the exposure and stuff.
Right.
If that's the deal you agreed upon, then that's
They're
fine.
great.
But if you agreed upon paying the man for his services, then pay the man.
Yeah, for sure. I see something coming up in here. What is going?
There you go.
All right. That's a Bloody Mary. Look at this. You got one? Oh, Abe got one. Abraham got one too. There is all kinds of stuff on this thing. How do you even drink it?
I don't think you're supposed to.
Yeah.
You gotta just admire it.
Yeah, exactly. So you never really were much of a drinker?
I had a phase growing up, you know, because I'd be chasing women and you go to the nightclub and you get sauced up before, but I never even liked it then, you know, when I was young. I don't, the drinking, the hangover the next day.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I can have this because it's fun, but then I got to fly 19 hours and I got 6 hours to kill today, so that'll be it, and I'll drink water after
perfect.
that.
You can pass out in the plane, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I was telling you earlier, you know, I don't know if you've seen, but the UFC's doing this Contender Series. Dana White's Tuesday night Contender Series. Young guys coming up fighting. I want to commentate that. I don't know.
But it's guys in the UFC? Or?
Some are guys that are just on the edge of the UFC, and some are guys coming up to the UFC, right at that edge, where they'll be fighting to accomplish their dream. You know what I mean? And they're guys are the game, as you know. You see these young guys; they're different than the guys who came before it. And part of the job is to help people see what the new crop is and what they do and how they express fighting, but also to tell the story of their visceral desire to win and get, you know, achieve their dream. But I want to commentate that. I don't know what I got to do. I sent Joe Rogan a text to see if he could help, but I want that, man.
Yeah, you need that, man.
Yeah.
I think you need to be on all the pay-per-views right there. Commentate, man.
Yeah, one day.
You'll get it.
You people have dreams. And a dream is great. You love to do something, but you got to figure out how to do it and what work has to be done and how you're going to put that work in, and then you'll find obstacles and how to get past that obstacle, and in getting past that obstacle, learn something else valuable. That's the only way. But that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm working on.
Yeah.
You know. You wanna try that?
No, that's all you, man.
I don't even know how to eat that. I don't even know how to get into that. So what are you doing the rest of are you staying in Dallas for a day or two?
I was, but since it's Mother's Day and stuff, I got my flight like at 4:30. I'm gonna get in a little later, but I'm still gonna get dinner with my mom because it's a straight flight, hang out with my wife, my kids. I just got a dog, he's like we've had him for 3 weeks now. He's going crazy, missing me, doing all types of things that he wasn't doing before, so I'm just dying to get there and be with my family.
Be with family, yeah, for sure.
I've been here for a week already in Dallas, so I'm ready to go home.
How connected do you feel to Cuba?
Say it again?
How connected are you to Cuba as a Cuban American?
Well, I grew up in a Latin community. I didn't speak English myself till I was like 12 years old, so it was...
Okay, now it's happening. What do we got? I think that those are both you.
Yes, sir.
That's how. Yeah, they're both him.
I've got an 11-year-old who's super active.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why I needed a little beer with my giant thing. That's
Canadian
just
thing.
I guess. But we were talking about Cuba and your family, and do you have still real true connection to Cuba?
As far as family goes,
family and just how you see yourself and what you think.
Definitely. I mean, if you've ever been to Miami, you know that that's the one city you don't need to speak English in to get around, you know?
Yeah.
And it actually, like, if you only speak English, people get mad, like, this is part of America? Bank teller doesn't speak no English. You know, I always hear people, I'm always like, every other day I'm translating for somebody that might be in the city that's talking to the gas station clerk that has no English skills, you know? So it's everyday life. It's the Latin culture over there.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, try something. Tell me how it is. This looks legit. So what do you got in there? You got chorizo added and sausage, sausage of some kind. Yeah. Little dog over there. What kind of dog did you just get?
Me and Pitbull.
Yeah.
Got me a little Pitbull.
You've had pit bulls before?
Yeah, this will be my third one. One of them died of diabetes. I had to put it down.
That's tough. That was probably tough on your kids too.
It was tough on them, but tougher for me because I had that dog before my kids. She was about 13 years old. And I have another one that's still alive. She's with my mom. She's about 16 years old, 15, which is a really long time for pit bulls, you know?
Yeah, like bigger dogs don't last live that long. I'll show you my dog. Look at this fat little chihuahua. He's old.
Man, that guy is fat. Bro.
Yeah, he's getting all fat and he's missing his teeth, so his tongue kind of hangs out. Yeah. Show you a picture of my wife. This is my wife. Wow, she's behind that stuff, but I don't know how to make that go away. But yeah, there she is.
Canadian?
Sweet.
Too?
Yeah, Canadian. So she travels. She's in musical theater.
Oh, nice.
So she sings, dances, acts. Yeah. So she's in a show right now. She was in Florida up until a couple weeks ago, but she came. So she's traveling for 6 months, and she's only home for 1 week in that time. But I go visit her. And the 1 week she's home is this week. Oh. So I saw her for 3 or 4 days, and then I got on the plane to come down to Dallas because she does, and we get along great. We see each other a lot. We talk every day, all the time. But we're chasing our thing, you know? She's traveling to do her thing, and it was hard to say bye when she's home, you know, and the dog and me and her parents, and we're all there. But we got to do the thing. We got to chase it. You know, I'm not going to I want that show, and I want to commentate the UFC in a year or 2 years or 3 years. And I'm not going to get that not going for it and making sacrifices. You have to.
Little goals every day.
Mm-hmm. And to me,
it'd be awesome to see you commentating.
Yeah, man, it's gonna happen. It's gonna take time.
And bring a different flavor, you know. And a lot of these guys, the commentators and stuff, they're fucking tools, bro. They're, you know, a lot of them. I'm not gonna mention names, but it's like watching an infomercial. Mm-hmm. This is the greatest striker in the world. This is the greatest grappler in the world. Yep. So who really is good? Who sucks? What? Not that I want to hear, but
can I trust you?
You have to hear it. Like, hey, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
You know, this guy's out of shape. This guy, you have to hear that type.
I have to be able to trust you.
Yes.
So, to me, the job of commentating is taking the moments of these brilliant artists and athletes and fighters that are happening in there and making sure the audience appreciates how special they are, what's really happening. And I feel like the language that you use has to change over time as the game changes. We can't just say the same things we said 6 years ago. You can't just imitate Joe when you come along. Joe was the best that's ever done it. He has his own voice. Now that voice becomes everybody's voice. You see guys on a local circuit in their first show, they're using Roganisms all night. That's him. That doesn't have to be you. You have to expand on that. But to me, I really think we've done, in general, where my world, what I care about, and the people that do things like that I do, and I include myself in this, we've done a bad job of getting people to see what it really is. We've sold those infomercials. We've sold the hype. We've sold the spectacle. We've sold the conflict. And these guys really hate each other. They got bad blood. And we've sold all that shit. And we haven't sold the art, the artistry, the visceral action. We haven't sold we haven't explained why Demetrius Johnson really is what he's doing and why he's doing it and why it matters. And what you were just saying about little goals, you can learn anything, you can get better. We should all be able to see that when we watch fights, so that people carry that over to their own life. Or when you watch somebody who shows a ton of heart or overcomes something so challenging and so painful to come back and win or survive. These are stories of humanity. You know what I mean? And when we're just selling and repeating the same things all the time, we're doing the audience a disservice. You know what I mean? There's something special happening in there, and the fact that we don't always do the right job and understand our why, the why of commentating or analyzing or talking about fighting, the why should be to show the beauty and the truth. And sometimes I think we forgot what the why was and we just doing the job that we saw other people do. You know? I want that job.
You know what job I want?
What?
Food critic. So
Yeah.
here
Okay,
I go
let's
with
hear
my
it.
first. If I was a food critic,
Would you do that gig? Would you? Well, I mean, you love food, right? Well, how's everything so far? All right.
wait, I'm gonna take my bite and do my
You
food
basically
critic.
ordered everything you did because he saw your stuff come out.
Yeah, mine's fantastic. Thank you. Food critic. Would you do that gig? Would you
Hell
like?
yeah, bro.
What if we
And then
literally
take the first bite.
Yeah.
Take like 10 minutes of silence.
thinking?
Stare right into the camera, creepy as fuck. It's so, bro. Nah, it's pretty good, man.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's so. But it's not the greatest.
The greatest fucking meal I've ever
Yeah.
had because they're sponsoring. No, man.
Yeah.
You gotta say the truth to the people.
Yeah.
Then nobody's gonna believe you, you know?
Credibility, man. Credibility. You gotta have credit. The chorizo I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love chorizo. You know, that is one of life's tasty things. Also love olives. You like olives? No.
Candy with olives.
Oh, I
If
love
they're in
olives.
my sandwich, yeah, I could deal with them. But straight olives are like, yeah, if it would have been on this, I wouldn't eat them.
Like I got one here. I don't know how I'm gonna get into it, but it's like got blue cheese in the middle, I think. I don't know. Oh, we got some kind of crossed swords
In
here.
the Latin culture, we cook a lot with that. But we don't always eat them. But we use it for like the seasoning, the flavor that it gives
Oh
out.
yeah. Well, are you good? Are you a good cook?
Better on the grill.
Yeah.
On the grill, I could throw down. Cooking, I got like 2 dishes that I could survive with, you know.
Yeah.
But
on the grill, you can make the meat and
yeah.
heat up everything.
I'm married to a Latin woman, so I don't. There's a lot of things I don't do, like laundry,
Yeah.
cooking, cleaning.
And she takes pride in that stuff and doing it for the family.
Oh, she has to. She's Latin. You know? She's been doing that since she was like 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And like in our culture, it's just standard. Like the men will work and the women will cook, clean, and take care of the
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
kids. You know.
And they take pride in it though. Like I mean, as long as my friend Ramdeen, I worked with him for years over at Fight Network. His wife is so proud to be a good mother.
Yeah.
Like she's so proud of that she understands. Like you're helping shape the futures of your children with the things that they learn and the way that they think. Something as simple as you were what you were talking about always seeing what you could be in 4 years. They call that a growth mindset. You teach that to a child, their whole life is different. For the rest of their life, everything becomes possible. You know?
Man, it's so influential who you got around you as you're growing up as a kid. If you're hanging out in a bad neighborhood and your role models are drug dealers because you see that they have the nice jewelry, the nice car, and then on the radio you're hearing about drug dealers and doing drugs, well shit, man, that kind of sucks, you know?
Were you around that?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody's around that a lot, I think, you know?
Yeah.
But especially the more humble the neighborhood you are, the more you see that, you know? You kind of idolize it, you know?
And fighting, martial arts was one of the things that helped you out of that?
Oh, for sure. Fighting was the thing that I idolized the most. But was nobody that was fighting in my neighborhood had a nice car or chain
Right.
or any of
Right.
that stuff, you know?
Right.
So when you see
But
the
the
guys
guy-
with that stuff, you're like, oh man, that's pretty damn
Yeah.
cool, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
What does that guy do for a living,
Yeah.
you know?
Sells crack. Yeah. It's a wild thing, man. But so for you it's fighting, but for some other people it's something else. And it's just one of those things, if you're lucky enough, whether it's your parents or people you're around, or you got just the right uncle or something who encourages you to chase the thing that you love, then that's something. You know what I mean? It's something else. For you, it was fighting. And so who were the keys to helping you do that? Like when you were a kid and when you were coming up, like who were the people that helped make sure you could go and keep doing that?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom didn't really approve of it too much, you know?
Yeah.
She would stop me from doing it because in school, I was never really a bully, but if the problems came my way, I never ran from them. I never was a kid like, hey, you know, maybe we should talk this out. I was like, if you want problems, they're right here, you know?
Right.
I'm raising my hand to be a target, you know?
Yeah.
So, my mom couldn't, and I don't blame her, she couldn't piece it together. Like, this guy has extra energy. He needs to be in the gym all day long. So I got in a lot of trouble. My mom would take me out of the programs that I was in. This was when I was younger. Once I hit like 13, 14, I was out of the house and there was no real control of me. So I was training all day long. And my influences to fighting really were like guys like Roberto Duran, great Latin boxers, you know, and I would look and I go, man, that guy's awesome, I could probably do it. And then watching Olympic wrestling also got me headed towards that path, you know?
Cool. I was super lucky. So it's Mother's Day. You could be watching this any day. It's the internet. They could be watching this in 2030. But today, when we're sitting here having breakfast, brunch, it's Mother's Day. My parents, so I was kind of a crazy kid, and for some reason, and I like gymnastics too. I like moving and understanding moving and watching people move and then moving
That's a
myself.
tough sport, man.
Yeah, I did gymnastics very young and diving, high diving from platforms and stuff. Yeah.
You know what I noticed about Canadians? They're so versatile in their sports. Every time I meet somebody from Canada, they played 3 or 4 sports, you know? They did like figure skating or gymnastics or something, and they actually competed in it and did it for a while, you know?
Yeah, and maybe so, yeah. I mean, you're kind of supposed to play hockey when you're a Canadian. They kind of just, everybody wants you to do it. But you'll end up finding some other thing. But if you're lucky, you get to do some things that you're interested in as a kid. If it's play piano or do art or whatever, it'll help. You said gymnastics, one of your kids? No?
My 2 girls did it.
Yeah.
And like, I don't ever want to push my kids on something, but when they say, look, I want to do this, well, we're going to do it for 3 months. You're going to do it 3 times a week. You're going to get to find out if you like it or not, you know? So they did it. They liked it, but they weren't like,
It wasn't their
wasn't
thing,
in it, you know? My son, he's a man, he has no choice. I'm gonna put him in gymnastics. He's about to turn 3.
Yeah.
From now to like 7 years old, just to give him that body strength, that flexibility, balance.
Yeah,
and he doesn't have a choice. That's what I'm doing for him.
He's gonna do it, and he's gonna thank you after. And for some people who don't want to do as much physicality, for some people see wrestling as a good one, and you know, dance, especially girls like it, but some guys do too. But being aware of your body, learning that young makes everything easier when you get older. You want to play football or you want to play soccer or play any sport.
A great base for all sports, you know?
Yeah, and I loved it. But when all I wanted to do was karate or something. It's all I talked about. And we lived in a small town, and both my parents worked, and they worked very, very hard. And they would take turns driving almost 2 hours each direction, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Drive 2 hours, let me train Taekwondo for 2 hours, and drive 2 hours back. It's like just under 2 hours. So in total, probably 5 hours, 5.5 hours each direction, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, until I got my black belt and I was competing. Because and now they tell me, they looked at me, they're like, that kid's something, we love our kid, but there's something wrong with him. And this is the only thing that seems to fucking pull him together.
Yeah. So your parents were smart enough to, like, you know, my mom was like, no, that's the devil. I can't have you getting any better at fighting. You're ready to hurt people in school.
Well, see, but that makes sense, right? You can see what she was thinking. She's trying to protect you and others. What does she think now? Is she proud, and is she?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's the proudest, you know.
Yeah.
Any article, she's not too much online, but when she gets on and she'll put like my name in an article pop up, she's like, oh my gosh, you're on this newspaper in Canada or.
Is she gonna watch this?
Yeah, she's
Happy Mother's Day, Mrs. Masvidal. Masvidal is your mother's last name?
I think she got remarried. I think she changed it, but it's still her last name.
Masvidal.
Yeah.
Mrs. Masvidal, happy Mother's Day. Happy birthday. I don't know what they put in this thing. Happy Mother's Day to my mom too. Really, like, I have a happy life, and that one thing, those years of driving me when they were exhausted every day, that's been the key ingredient in my happiness and success in the rest of my life. Going to do martial arts 3 times a week, that sacrifice that they made, you know?
That is awesome. You know?
Yeah.
You look, as a kid, you don't really know what's going on. You're like, whatever, you know, just take me there and take me back.
Yeah.
But when you get to be an adult, like, man, that's 6 hours out of the day every time you were taking out from me.
Yeah, I know. And I mention it a lot. I think about it a lot. When neat things happen or I get something, you know, we grind, even in my job, you grind. And if you're gonna chase anything and work hard, you're gonna grind. You're gonna work 60, 70 hours a week, study, read. On the plane, I gotta prepare some doo ho choi and Korean zombie stuff, but I love it. But you grind. But every now and again, there's some little thing that happens, you know, and some little breakthrough or some great moment. And every year or two when those things happen, I call my parents and I thank them. I do.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You have kids?
Not yet. I'm
That's like the greatest
yeah.
thing you can do for a parent. Like when my kids tell me like, Dad, thank you, and they
Yeah.
really mean it. Like,
Yeah.
thank you for taking me to eat
Yeah.
ice cream after school. I really
Yeah.
needed it. It's like, This
Yeah.
better than fighting. Better. It's the dopest drug ever. You know?
Yeah.
You made your parents' day.
Yeah, that's so cool. Wow. Yeah, and Mother's Day. What about your parents' mother? What will they do for her?
Well, right now they're doing a big party at my mom's house.
Nice.
I'll be getting there a little later,
Yep.
so I'm gonna get in towards the end of it. If it's already done, I'll take it to get dinner. If not, we'll party. They'll be drinking,
Yep.
dancing, dominoes.
Nice.
hanging
Cool.
out, yeah.
So, paint a picture of what that looks like. Backyard, grill. Like, what are we?
Indoor and outdoor.
Yeah.
They'll have like the dance floor set up outside with the
Yeah.
little speakers. The people
Real
that
Latin
smoke the
vibe?
cigarettes. Yeah,
Yeah.
real Latin vibe.
Yeah.
Nobody in there speaks English.
Yeah.
You speak English, everybody will be uncomfortable. Like,
Yeah.
what is that guy saying?
Like, why is he? Why
Yeah.
is he speaking? Who is he? Who
brought
Jorge?
him?
Yeah, who brought him exactly? Ah, man. So how's this one?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
You got to do the stare first, and then.
But and mine's gonna be different because I want the chef there,
Yeah.
right next to it, so
Yeah.
he feels the pressure, like, you know.
I love it. I love it. Will you like at least? There are times where it's real too because this is you're this kind of man, but there are times where you could intimidate people. And you'll intimidate the chef a little bit.
Just look at him.
Yeah.
Keep the stare. Act like I got the cold sweats, like I'm going through withdrawals.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, man.
Yeah. Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. I was telling you, Mike Brown, he's one of your friends and coaches and stuff. I don't know why. It's just something about that guy I really like. I don't know what it is. Partly, I was a big fan when he was the featherweight champion of the world, and he was the featherweight champion of the world. They didn't have it in the UFC at the time, but that was the champion of 145 pounders of the whole world.
The deepest 145 class in the whole world, for sure.
Yeah, and a cool guy and a smart guy. So I love talking to these coaches. That's when I try to get into where the technique is evolving and what they're seeing every day with the race horses and people like you and what they're seeing and how it's changing. Because fighting, like 2 years ago, the game was different than it is today when you fight somebody, right? And the analogy I used for you in that breakdown was a river. Things are moving and changing, and you can't get out and stand on the shore, or the river will move on without you. Do you sense it? Do you see fighting and life as a constant state of change? Do you see that?
Where I'm at in my particular skill set, I don't feel like I have to add something to keep winning, but I always do, and I'm like a real hard-headed individual, like to the point. There's some interesting stuff.
There's some
here,
interesting
man.
stuff. That guy had a penis hanging off his chest, for real. He did.
That was pretty nuts.
That was pretty, literally. There's some nuts. Excuse me.
Could I get another glass of water? This one's got a bug in it. Oh, thanks.
Thank you. You were saying change and skill set change.
I feel like I could stay with the skill set now and still win the world championship, still beat a lot of top contenders. But if I learn something that I know works, like let's say I never rolled with nobody in my life, and that one person catches me with something, I'm like, hey, what was that?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Yeah.
I never seen that.
Yeah.
I'm that type
Yeah.
of guy. It kind of has to happen to me, and then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it works,
Yeah. Is there anything? I've seen fighters. Anthony Johnson talked about this. He's like, some things I just don't work for me. I try them and I don't like them and I don't do them. You probably try everything, right? Like even the advice you give to your kids, you give that to yourself. Yeah. Try it for 2 or 3 months and see how it fits.
If it's something that works, that I know works, man, I just really, and my thing is I'm not I'm not like a smart dude with the technique, you know. Like Mike Brown will tell you, if I go to a class and it's like a seminar type class where they're doing 4 or 5 moves in just 1 hour, I can't do it. I'll walk off the mat and go do my own thing because I can't do it. So Mike Brown, for example, knows very well the type of athlete I am. I'm a workhorse. He knows that he's gonna have 2 to 3 moves tops for a 2-hour practice. Then I'm just gonna drill and drill and drill and drill and drill, and that's the only way I've gotten to where I'm at, you know. Because it's not like I'll pick up a move right away, but I could just drill it more than everybody else, you know.
He told me that you'll go in, you'll be the first guy on there and the last guy off there with a team of guys who have been the first guy on and the last guy off all their life, and you'll be that guy. And so can you tell me, if you think about it and you try to put it into words, why that works? So let's say there's something that's moving and it requires a shift of your body weight. Do you need to do it physically so that your body starts to understand it? Is that why you will drill things so many times? Or is it because you'll adapt to it, or you're trained? Like, why do you think repetition helps with physical?
This is a good one, man. Nobody's ever asked me that, but I'll tell you my honest belief why. I feel you have to drill something or go through that something when you're fresh, when you're tired, when you're fatigued, when you're hungry, when you're thirsty, when you're full, when you're not thirsty. You know, you have to do it in every single phase that you could possibly experience it. You have to just do it, and that's just repetition. You're gonna get them in there, you know. Maybe I'll do something 200-300 times before the practice starts, just a particular move that I like or that I suck at, you know. Like defending a certain type of shot against a certain type of wrestler, you know. Just front headlock, unblock front headlock. Me personally, I would notice I didn't pick it up that quick, but I have the ability to drill and drill and keep doing it. And that's how I've gotten to where I'm at, you know. So I just think that you have to do it, especially when you're tired. The technique usually goes out the window for most people. So that's when you gotta extra drill it. So you're only relying on technique. You're not relying on muscle no more. You know, because you don't have the strength no more. You don't have the speed. All you got is technique.
Yeah, and the only way that technique will be there is you trained it more than everybody else.
And the focus of it, of being tired and like, okay, don't make a mistake, keep my chin down, hands up, all those things, they add a lot, you know?
Focus is an interesting thing. People who do any kind of moving, yoga, for example, lets people start to put their mind in the outside corner of their foot as they pressure on their knee. Do you know what I mean? Or as you're here, where you place your body. But starting to be able to mindfully put your mind in the hip or in the positioning, you train that over time. Every time you drill, you're training the ability for your mind to understand your body too.
Exactly.
So
for it to become almost second nature, subconscious, you know? I've done it so much I don't have to think about it when I do get there. And that's one thing that you need. You don't want to be thinking like, when you're in the actual fight, you just want to go. You just want it to go to flow out of you. And if you haven't drilled it enough times, it's a lot of times, like me and my Muay Thai coach always say, it's too late the day of the fight.
Right, yeah.
It's just, if you don't know how to block leg kicks, and I don't know how to throw them, it's just too late for you. Bro. You're not going to do anything about it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. It's the same thing. My job is very different, and nobody's kicking me in the head while I'm doing it, which adds an element that most people, whatever their job is that they do, try doing it and somebody's kicking you in the head. You know, it changes everything. But even to try to do my jobs in a live setting or a commentary setting or a live analysis setting, I kind of think of it as internalizing the knowledge. It's not physical in my case, but it's the same thing where you feel like you know it in your skin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You feel like you know it in your blood, that you don't have to think about where your hand should go or what you should do. And that's a fascinating thing. You know, there was a time that you were alive fighting people that you couldn't do some things you do now effortlessly. Isn't that wild, thinking about that?
Oh, plenty of times, you know, especially as I started out, my wrestling wasn't the greatest, and if I was on my back, I was in big trouble, you know, but through doing it so many times with so many high-level guys, it just becomes easier and easier, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Oh, man, I can't think enough. It's a lot of the time, my job has been to look at your skill and the skills of other great fighters, the way they express them, try to study the way that they train it. But it's been nice to be able to just hang out and chat too and see the insight. Thank you, my man. I'm a big fan of yours.
A big fan of yours.
Yeah.
I love your work, man.
Thank you, man. And thank you guys for joining us. It was a real pleasure. And I'm going to try to finish this thing. You going to get more food?
think I'm done for the day, man.
All right.
I want to fight soon, July 29th, so I'm gonna kind of control myself.
Let's make it happen July 29th. Thanks again, man. Jorge and Black out.